And since he's got some positives and some negatives, they look kind of like north and south poles to some people, so they call him a polar molecule. Well, it turns out polar molecules like other polar molecules, but the other polar molecule has to be upside down. So, like that. Because the positive ears, like the negative really should be on his chin. There. The positive ears like the negative chin, and the negative head, chin over here, likes the positive ears over there, and they can stick together like magnets. So water is always like that. Water always wants to clump together in a ball to be magnets. If you look at oil molecules, they're different. Oil molecules look like caterpillars. Oil. And they don't have a separation of charge, and they don't care to hang around with each other. They'll go wherever you push them. So if you have a bunch of oil caterpillars floating around, the water guys will push the oil ones out of the way so the water guys can be with each other. So Jack and Jill went there, and they couldn't believe their eyes. Here was food everywhere, but the people in Starvingville weren't eating it. And they said, "Why don't you go out there?" And they said, "Because if we go across that dotted line, we'll all die a horrible death." And Jack and Jill said, "Where'd you get that idea?" And they said, "Because it's true, it's true." And Jack and Jill said, "Well, come with us." So Jack and Jill went out there and they stood next to the dotted line on the ground. And everybody said, "Oh, stay away, stay away." And Jack jumped over this dotted line. And he didn't die. And they said, "Oh, you're dead." And Jack and Jill says, "I'm not dead, see? I'm alive." And he jumped back. And they said, "Look at Jack, he's dead. Stay away from Jack. Nobody touch Jack or you'll die too." And Jill said, "Jack, I think that didn't work. We're going to fill it about half full of water. Then we're going to pour in sand. And we're going to pour in the same amount of water that we do sand. So whenever you pour in the water, look and see what line it comes closest to. And then we'll pour in the same amount of sand, and we'll see what line it comes closest to then." After you pour the sand in there, find out what number it comes closest to. 50. This one comes closest to 50. And then dump the sand into your cup. Then take your cylinder over to the water and fill it up to whatever number the sand was at. You guys were right. Your intuition was correct. Somehow you realized that 1 + 1 does not equal 2.
Not always.
Okay, we're going to do the same thing again, except this time we're going to use a different color of sand. That'll make a difference, right? Yeah! After you get your sand, dump in the same amount of water. This time, did 1 and 1 make 2? Holly says it's because it's hydrophobic. How can you tell it's hydrophobic? Ah, they're not mixing together. Dump whatever's in your cylinder into the tub. Then send somebody from your group to go get more water and dump the water on top of the sand.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it's still not wet. That is so weird. Okay, Lily, feel that. It is still not wet.
Well, I emptied these two guys into a container, and if you open it up, nuisance dust.
Oh no.
It's a really, really fine powder. Don't blow into it when I bring it by, otherwise you'll cover your face with nuisance dust. So they coated all the chemicals with a little bit of silica gel kind of stuff, which is the same thing that that blue sand is coated with. But this is really, really fine powder. So it does something bizarre. I'm going to pour a little bit of our nuisance dust on the water.
That's the leaker.
I hate this stuff. It just... smelly, smelly stuff. There, we got a little coating of that. And we'll let the dust kind of get blown away. Now, we don't want you to stick in your hand and go splashy, 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 because it doesn't work if you go splashy, splashy, splashy. But if you take your hand and you put your fingers in,
Oh my God!
and take your fingers out, your hand's dry.
Oh my God.
Ah.
It looks like a skeleton.
So you can do like 4 people at once if you each choose a side, and I'll put some over there so it to be a nuisance.
Oh my God, it looks like plastic.
Oh, that's so